The story begins with a kindergarten school trip in Korea, where a little girl named Silgi was playing with sand. She was a small, cute child who had come to the beach with her classmates for a picnic. Unlike the others, Silgi had shown up in a princess dress instead of the usual school uniform. After what must have been some next-level negotiation tactics with her mom, everyone was playing, photos were being clicked, but in the middle of all that fun, the others somehow forgot about Silgi and left. She remained alone on the beach. She began crying, thinking she should have just worn the uniform, and a few days later she was seen at an orphanage. It was revealed that she had become an orphan, and sadly no one wanted to adopt her. There was no one to care for her, and food was practically a luxury because she would sleep and wake at odd times. Most days she survived just on water. As she grew older, all the other children were dropped off at school by van. To look cool, she had lied to a classmate, claiming that she lived in her own apartment. In reality, she smelled bad and was regularly bullied by the other girls in class. One day they stuck bubblegum in her hair, and Silgi was forced to cut it off. Just as she got her new haircut, someone decided to launch a milk carton at her face. To earn money, Silgi began selling weed. Yes, that escalated quickly. She started working with a local mafia gang and sold little packets of marijuana to make ends meet. One day, their gang leader asked how good they were at studies. Silgi proudly said she was ranked 15th in class. The leader seemed impressed. Until she mentioned that the class only had 30 students. He bluntly told them that they were all pretty average and should just stick to selling drugs. Silgi didn't take that well and sarcastically asked if he wanted them to do such filthy work for life. The guy handed her a packet and told her to study well. Silgi took that to heart and began studying. Like really hard. Tristan gave multiple exams and managed to rank 15th in the whole school, not just in her class. She began receiving respect from classmates, which made her think that if she reached the top rank, people would worship her like a human god. That's when she made a questionable decision. She took out one of the drug packets, popped some pills and got high, to the point she probably thought gravity was optional. Despite that, she studied like a woman on a mission and metaphorically set the school on fire with her grades. She topped the school. Now no one dared bully her anymore. The bullies had already picked a new target to ruin. Silgi now had a whole new aura. She kept taking pills and stealing packets from the gang during her selling shifts, 1 or 2 at a time. No one ever noticed. Somehow, she got accepted into a prestigious elite school in Seoul, which was basically Hogwarts for rich kids. And that, as they say, is where the real circus began. The kids there were not just rich. They were advanced-level bullies, with designer shoes and psychological warfare. Silgi had stolen a bunch of pills, stuffed them into a pillow inside her suitcase, and made her way to Seoul. She arrived wearing her school uniform and took the metro to her new school. Seeing the flashy cars and wide roads of Seoul, her village brain short-circuited a bit. It was like switching from dial-up to Wi-Fi. A rich girl had arrived in a sports car with her ultra-rich university boyfriend. At school, her friend Jing was furious, questioning her about always hanging out with boys. The girl said she had only just met him last week and he just gave her a ride. But Jing wasn't convinced and stormed off angrily. Around the same time, Silgi arrived at the school with her bag, met the teacher, and proudly told her about her rank. The teacher, remembering her from the records, told her to go to the second class. Silgi asked 2 girls for directions, but they walked away making faces like someone had just suggested homework on a weekend. The school vibe is weird and cold. Accidentally, Silgi wandered into the assembly area where a meeting with rich parents was happening, as the new school session was beginning. Just then, an old lady walked in and began selling flowers. Even after multiple requests from the guards, she refused to leave. That's when one girl stood up and offered to buy all her flowers. This caught everyone's attention. The girl turned out to be the richest and smartest in the school, the top scorer, fluent in English and basically the school's pride and poster child, you. Everyone wanted to be friends with her. The school was so huge that if someone got murdered in one corner, no one on the other end would even hear a whisper about it. Silgi quietly left the assembly, but Yu had noticed her. Later, Silgi entered her new class with her suitcase. The girls were watching Yu's videos, since she was practically a celebrity on campus. Being her friend meant instant status upgrade. One student asked which class Yu was in, and while the teacher tried to brush it off, the girls insisted. Just then, Yu entered the same classroom. The teacher ended the introduction by reminding them that university entrance exams were coming, and they should all prepare well. Everyone in the class was secretly wishing Yu would sit with them, thinking it would be the ultimate flex if she did. At that moment, Selgi's bag fell, spilling some private items out. You went over to pick up a keychain that had fallen. After that, you walked around the class, and one girl, trying to be extra, saved a special seat for her. You just told her to move and went straight to sit with Selgi on the last bench, leaving everyone in shock. They were all wondering why the top student had chosen to sit with the transfer student. You casually introducing herself, and Selgi, without skipping a beat, responded, "I don't know who you are." Though you looked a bit offended, she smiled anyway. During lunch, Selgi was cornered in the washroom by 3 girls. They all tried to convince her to exchange seats. They were apparently willing to offer her cash just to swap spots. The girls even started playing rock paper scissors over it. In the end, Selgi gave her seat to the girl in the middle, and the girl, ecstatic, promised, "If you ever need anything, let me know and I'll get it for you." Selgi, with a smirk, said, "I need a building, can you get me that?" The girl was speechless, and the other 2 girls, still standing, were visibly burning with jealousy. Just then, you entered the scene, and facing the girl who had offered Selgi a seat swap, she asked, "Where were you? Let's go for lunch." She grabbed Selgi's hand and led her out of the classroom, leaving everyone stunned. You had just made friends with the transfer student and was walking out holding her hand. This was the moment when the real story began. You was now taking Selgi to lunch. At that moment we also saw the 2 girls from earlier, one who had been dropped off by her rich boyfriend named Julie and her friend Jing, who seemed to be from China. That's when they learned Jing's parents were wealthy lawyers while Julie's parents were musicians, although Julie herself wanted to become a doctor. It turned out almost every girl in this school was expected to go into the medical field. You then casually asked Selgi if she wanted to get into Korean university, and suddenly all the girls turned to stare at her. The reason is that the keychain that had fallen from her bag earlier was a limited edition item and it was near impossible to find, even if you were rich. Selgi, just going with the flow, said, "Yes, I want to go into the medical department," basically parroting what everyone else was saying, though she had no clue what she actually wanted to do with her future. Among these girls, the real competition was about who was the richest and who would climb the highest. Some of them handed you their water bottles, practically offering her a royal service. Julie and Jing had some medicine on them. Selgi was taken aback, wondering if they were as dependent on pills as she was. Julie nonchalantly said, "I don't know when my health will get better." Jing suggested, "Why don't you stop smoking?" Julie tried to silence her, then you said, "Good health is crucial for good studying, and I'll help you with that, Selgi. Don't worry about it." And so, all these girls seemed to be on some strange medication binge. When you walked into the classroom, she immediately asks why Selgi is changing her seat. Selgi replies that she can see the board more clearly from the front. Without saying anything further, you makes the girl next to Selgi get up and says she will sit there. Selgi protests, asking why you is troubling others, and tells her to let it be. Everyone in the class is stunned. Selgi is the first person ever to speak to you like that. No one usually talks to you in such a manner. You doesn't respond, simply smiles and quietly goes to sit at the back. The same girl who had earlier made a shady deal in the bathroom to switch seats is now sitting beside her. After school, Selgi returns home, where a lady shows her a room. At this point the identity of the lady is unclear, but it becomes evident soon. Then the flashback shows Selgi's father's funeral. Her father has passed away, under mysterious circumstances. While going through some of her father's belongings, Selgi finds a diary. When she had gone missing as a child during a beach picnic, her father had printed numerous missing posters. But she was never found. She also checks her dad's phone and finds a photo of the same woman, who turns out to be her father's wife. On the phone there is also a keychain, the same one Selgi now carries with her. Selgi had actually stolen that phone from a box and still carries it around. She is seen messaging someone about a school uniform. The person had told her to come to a specific location that night. After running around there for a while, a large car pulls up and she buys the uniform. The reason is that the school is extremely expensive, and so are its uniforms. Selgi doesn't have enough money. Later, while washing the uniform, a condom packet falls out. Selgi is shocked and wonders whose uniform she has ended up with, and what kind of things the previous owner was involved in. She also tries to unlock her dad's phone again, testing every possible password, but nothing works. Suddenly, the phone rings, though the caller's identity remains unknown. This moment makes it clear that someone is following Selgi. The next day, Selgi shows up at school wearing that same uniform. But for some reason the girls were making faces at her, and the one to whom she had offered her seat the day before deliberately spilled a drink on her and then started misbehaving like she owned the school and manners were on vacation. When Silgi ignored it, they began bullying her. They taunted her, saying no matter how much you wash it, the smell won't go away from your uniform. They claimed it smelled like male semen. Then she added that just because you treat you nicely doesn't mean you've become the Cinderella of the class. At that moment, Yu arrives, and Silgi can no longer bear the humiliation. Everyone starts assuming she had spent the night with a boy and came to school wearing the same uniform stained with semen. They all make disgusting jokes about her. She started remembering a brutal scene from her past, where a group of girls had beaten her up on the school rooftop, thrown shoes at her, and hurled vulgar abuse at her. It was next-level cruelty. They even burned her shoulder with a cigarette. Back in the present, we see her washing her uniform. Yu hugs her and says, "I won't leave you." That's when we see the burn mark from the cigarette. Yu offers her own uniform, saying, "We're the same size, I have plenty." But Silgi pushes her away and says, "Let the smell stay, I'll wear this." Mind your own business. Don't you get it? I've rejected you so many times. Yu gets upset and storms off. Still, she keeps staring at Silgi all through class, like her eyes had nowhere else to go on the syllabus. Then the teacher conducts a test. After a while, she announces the results. Yu scores top, and for those who scored below 6, the teacher doesn't even mention names. She just says they should be ashamed. Silgi's name isn't mentioned, meaning she scored below 6. She used to be the school topper at her previous school, and now she can't even score here. All the girls go to Yu, begging her to teach them. Yu helps each one by sharing the answers. Meanwhile, Silgi runs out of class to the teacher and pleads to know her score. The teacher says she scored 4 and adds, "You used to be a topper." But there's a big difference between a village school and a city school. Silgi asks if she'll explain the topic in the next class. The teacher says, "No, figure it out yourselves." Even during lunch, Silgi is stared at, and she ends up sitting alone. Then one girl comments that the stain on the transfer student's uniform brought shame to the school. Everyone stares at her again. Silgi checks her phone and finds that someone has posted photos of her on the school website group. Pictures of her taking her uniform from a car outside a hotel and washing it. Someone had been following her. Her reputation was now in tatters. Everyone started making filthy comments, calling her names like slut. Having been thoroughly humiliated, she didn't know what to do. Then, someone anonymously sends her the answers to an exam. She had failed earlier with just low, and clearly, someone was always watching her. She pops a pill and goes to join a tuition class. While escaping, she notices a class where intense studying is happening. She secretly records a video of it, but the director spots her and says, "If you want to study for free, I'll show you what that means." Silgi runs, the teacher chasing her. She enters the elevator, and when it opens, she sees Yu standing there. Yu helps her hide by putting a cap on her. Silgi somehow escapes to the rooftop. The exhaust fans up there remind her of the rooftop at her previous school, where she was assaulted. It begins to rain. After a while, Yu arrives and offers her a hand to help her up. Now, Yu narrates her own story, that she was born into a rich family, but her dad only cared about her rank. Her father loved her sister more, and gave her all the attention because Yu's grades were always slightly lower. Despite studying day and night, she could never surpass her sister. Their dad was very strict. He created an environment where the two sisters grew to hate each other, always trying to outdo one another. They used to take tests, and the one who scored higher would hit the one who scored lower. One day, Yu scored higher and had to hit her sister, but she didn't want to. It broke her heart. She cried every day and begged her dad to stop the madness. Eventually, both sisters grew up distant from each other. Their relationship completely deteriorated. They didn't even talk anymore. The boys were quick to approach her because she looked beautiful, and she immediately became the center of attention. When she was 15 years old, she met a boy and went into a room with him. Once there, they were about to do something they shouldn't have. But hold on. She always wore an armor shield, and thanks to that, no boy could get past her defenses. Honestly, she was better protected than Iron Man at this point. Her family used to visit church every weekend to repent and say sorry to God for all their sins. But she used to sit there thinking, "I haven't done anything wrong, so why should I apologize?" She had many boyfriends, went clubbing, partied, and had all the fun she wanted. After every misstep, she'd go to church and apologize. She was always a favorite among people, and even had dreams where she saw herself jumping into the Han River with her trusty armor still on. All she wanted was to escape her crazy father's prison-like control. She didn't like her father one bit. And now we're back to Yu having saved Silgi on the rooftop and brought her to her family's hospital. Silgi's eyes popped out seeing all this, figuratively of course. Yu got her checkup done while Silgi, coming from a small village, was seeing these things for the first time. Watching Yu take medicine, she realized how seriously Yu was taking her studies. Then Yu took Silgi to her study room, which was inside the hospital itself, and once there she spat out the medicine. This revealed that her family was forcing her to take it. Then Yu gave Silgi a new uniform and helped her change. She noticed a cigarette burn on her. Silgi did not try to hide it and said she burned herself. As Silgi wore the dress, she asked, "How do you know my size?" Yu replied, "I held you once, remember? That told me everything I needed to know." She even said she was going to bring her shoes too, but stopped herself because in Korea, you're not supposed to give shoes, or else the person runs away. Silgi asked, "Why are you doing so much for me? Why are you being so nice?" Yu answered, "Because I respect you. You were the topper at your last school, you got amazing ranks without even going to tuition, so now you'll teach me how to study. Show me how you do it." Silgi admitted, "At first I didn't think you were a good person, you were scaring the students. And about being a topper, well, that was just a village school. It wasn't a big deal, here I'm failing miserably." You promised to bring her the notes from her private tuition classes, and in return, Silgi would tutor her. This would be their secret deal. Silgi is not sure what Yu really wants from her. Her behavior is very odd. Just then Jing and Julie showed up and began insulting Silgi. They called her filthy for wearing second-hand clothes, they mocked her for not having a father, and said her mother must have done something immoral in high school to give birth to her. One of them said she must have gotten pregnant during high school and that's how Silgi was born. Another said, "Wow, it's the first time I've seen an illegitimate child in real life. Kinda cool, right? Maybe she caused a lot of trouble in her old school too, which is why she was thrown out." Yu immediately covered Silgi's ears to protect her from hearing any more. Just then Silgi's phone rang, and the girls thought someone might be hiding inside. As they were about to check, Yu texted them, saying she was standing outside and told them to come quickly. Both girls rushed to her. Then Yu brought Silgi outside, and Silgi gave her a kitchen keychain from the university, a final keepsake from her father. It was a deeply meaningful gift, as that keychain had been on her father's phone. Yu then went to meet her two friends, Jing and Julie. Meanwhile, Silgi wandered into the hospital's funeral department. When patients die in the hospital, their funeral is held right next door. There she met a doctor who pointed out that her bag was open and told her to close it. She zipped it up and ran away. Later, the three girls attended their classes. Afterward, they prepared to head home. Yu's father had come to pick them up. But Yu looked like she'd rather be doing taxes blindfolded than see her dad. During the ride, the other two girls chatted happily with her dad, but Yu sat there in complete silence. He dropped them both off at the bus stop. Jing said, "Did you notice how uncomfortable Yu gets around her dad?" As they sat at the bus stop, a guy on a scooter pulled up and started ogling Julie's legs. He even brushed against Jing, mistaking them for girls who work after school. Jing shouted, "What do you think we are?" The guy said, "Not you. Give this card to the one behind you." Jing snapped, "I'm going to report to you. You're misbehaving with a minor in public." The guy ran off, scared out of his wits, but Jing was left fuming about how disgustingly he had judged them. Julie, meanwhile, was chillin'. She said, "Relax. Pretty girls get treated like this, it's part of the package deal. My legs are sexy and I'm gonna show them off. Of course guys are going to stare. People only look at beautiful things. No one even glances at you. I know that." Her university boyfriend came to pick her up again. Meanwhile, back at home, Yu was smoking a cigarette. In her room, she noticed her family had already placed a bracelet and another university keychain for her. Now she had two identical keychains. Julie was going through her own drama. She came home and weighed herself. Just 15 grams more, and she was panicking like she'd just gained a truckload. If her weight crossed 40 kilos, she'd freak out. She put her finger down her throat to vomit, drank water, and started exercising like mad to bring it back under control. Meanwhile, at 3 different homes, the girls are seen going about their own lives. Jing is organizing her books. This scene aims to show how different all 4 girls are, their lifestyles, their goals, and what they do after school. Silgi is showering at home and recalls the doctor she met at the hospital earlier. She now realizes that the doctor is none other than Yu's father. This wasn't Silgi's first encounter with him. She had seen him before, at her father's funeral. In fact, it was this doctor who had treated her father. But the way her father died wasn't as simple as it looked. It's actually a major secret. When her stepmother found out, she fainted from the shock. Silgi had followed the doctor and seen Yu calling him dad. At that time, Yu looked genuinely happy to see her father. But now, things are clearly very different. She doesn't seem happy around him at all. That moment was actually the first time Silji saw Yu. The second time was in school, during the introduction session. Silji tells us that she spent 13 years searching for her father, and when she finally found him, he was already dead. She asks, "Why is my fate like this? I'm poor, I have no family, I have nothing. Meanwhile Yu has everything. Family, a father, respect, and even money." She then looks at her torn socks. Then at her new school uniform. She starts studying the tuition notes Yu gave her the night before. But first, she takes her pills, down the hatch and gets to work. And when Silgi studies, she means business. The next day in class, Yu's seatmate is mysteriously absent. The bully, yes, that same girl, is nowhere to be found. She hasn't been seen since the previous day. The teacher casually says, "Forget her. Maybe she didn't want admission after all. That's why she stopped coming to school." Then Silji walks over with her bag and sits next to Yu, smiling. The whole class is shocked. Weren't they fighting just yesterday? Silgi is now sitting with Yu and their friendship is becoming very strong. The girl sitting behind them is furious. Even Jing and Julie are shocked to see Silgi in a new school uniform. Where'd she get the money for that, they wonder. While Yu keeps staring at Silgi like she's in love with her or something. Outside, Yuli meets Nare's two friends and offers them an expensive cigarette from France. The kind that isn't even sold in Korea. She lights one up for them and casually asks about Nare. The girls say they have no idea where she went. Her phone's switched off or she's not picking up. We had lunch with her at school yesterday, and after that she just disappeared. So now it's confirmed, Nare vanished from school itself. Julie then meets Silgi and they both see a notice on the school bulletin board. It's about a new elite club that students can join to earn extra points. Julie asks, "Are you going to join?" Silgi says yes. Julie replies, "But you do know not everyone can join this club, right? Didn't you tell you that?" Silgi says no, but she'll still apply. Julie says, "Just because your friend is the school president doesn't mean you get to sneak in through the back door. Even Nare said she wanted to join, and look, now she's missing. Doesn't that seem odd to you?" she adds. "At least now the competition's reduced." Then the teacher announces that it's time to select candidates for class president. The first candidate is already chosen. It's Jing. She's a good student, cheerful and smart. Just then Yu raises her hand. Everyone's surprised. She says that she wants to nominate someone, and that someone is Silji. The class is stunned while Jing and Julie are burning with jealousy. Is this transfer student really going to be our president now? The teacher asks Silji if she'd like to be president. Silgi was about to say no, but Yu stopped her. Now the teacher has two candidates and calls for a vote. Julie turns red with anger. Voting begins, and when the results come in, Silgi wins. But how? No one even knows her in the class. Why would anyone vote for her? Because in this class, what Yu says goes. That's the unspoken rule. Everyone claps out of obligation. Jing gets up in anger and starts checking the ballots, only to find that the handwriting on all the votes is exactly the same. Someone clearly faked the results. She's furious. Jing accuses her of cheating, claiming the votes were tampered with. Silji defends herself, saying she won fairly. The teacher steps in and mentions that the class president will get exam bonus points. Yu then calls out Jing's behavior and demands an apology. The class supports Silgi and Jing loses it, yelling dramatically. Yu and Silgi insist on an apology, and after some drama, Jing storms off and apologizes, though she's clearly still furious. Later, Silgi finds a letter in her mailbox and discovers a strange man at home with her stepmom. Uncomfortable, she leaves the letter at the door and goes to the park, trying to unlock her late father's phone. Yu messages her to celebrate the win. Meanwhile, Jing is obsessing over handwriting samples. Her mom scolds her and asks about Silji. Jing lies, saying Silji stole something. Her mom gets angry and Jing accuses her of hiding financial secrets. Her brother gets mad too. Jing then finds a mysterious paper in her mom's files, while Yu's dad is secretly gathering data for unknown reasons. Julie heads out glamorously at night and overhears gossip about Nare's family, once rich, now suddenly selling their house and fleeing town. While Yu brings a girl to a fancy restaurant for a treat. The girl says she wants pizza. This is the same girl who helped Yu cheat in the voting. Meanwhile, Silji is standing outside in the rain, watching. Yu sees her, but doesn't approach or call her. Then Yu suddenly dashes inside because karaoke is starting. She joins Silgi, who is already there, and they sing a romantic song together. They practically fall for each other mid-chorus. Later, Yu takes Silgi to her home. Silgi is stunned by the mansion. It's so big and fancy it could be rented out for movie shoots. Yu has a dog too, which runs into her sister's room. Silgi is confused, to which Yu says that she had a sister, but she's not here anymore. Silgi asks if she died. Yu says no, she didn't die, but doesn't elaborate further. Yu takes Silgi to her dreamy ocean-themed room with fish everywhere. Basically, Silgi's childhood Pinterest board comes to life. They bond over shared interests, which are practically identical. The dog returns with a dress in its mouth, the same one Silgi wore on a childhood picnic. Yu teases that she looked like a princess. Silgi remembers her parents shouting her name at the beach when she got lost. She gets emotional and shares everything with Yu. Silgi goes to shower, Yu joins her, completely nude, and Silgi nearly faints like a Jane Austen character seeing an ankle. Yu casually asks if it's her first time being naked around a friend. She then walks up and kisses Silgi. Things escalate, and the two end up on the bed, making out for ages. For Silgi, this whole experience is strange and overwhelming. She wonders if she's into girls. Because she didn't stop any of it. Later that night, she wakes up and goes to the bathroom because her period has started and she needs sanitary pads. While looking for them, she recalls everything that happened in the bath earlier. She's still in shock. Then she sees a message on Yu's phone from Nari. Nari says she'll apologize to Silgi and even transfer schools. Just please delete the video, she's begging. And now we understand that Yu has a video of Nari and is using it to blackmail her. Silgi sees it and is shaken to the core. Meanwhile, Jing is reading the paper she took from her mom. Now Jing recites her own childhood stories. She studied hard, wore glasses from the start, and was very interested in boys. She liked erotic stuff and even practiced kissing alone. She was the school topper and ready to become number one. Everything was going perfectly, until the day Yu showed up. A tall, gorgeous girl with legs for days, Yu immediately became the talk of the school. She was beautiful, smart, and won everyone over. She became the best student, class president, and model in just one day. Jing and Yu used to be best friends. Then a boy entered their lives. Jing liked him, but the boy liked Yu. That's not the worst part. He even insulted Jing, called her ugly, and said all kinds of cruel things. Jing was devastated and humiliated. Her life became filled with shame and bitterness. Even now, whenever Jing watches adult videos and does stuff, Yu's face pops up in her imagination like a pop-up ad you just can't close. Yu has taken over her brain so thoroughly, it's like she's been permanently installed there. But Jing hates Yu. She's her arch-nemesis, like Batman and Joker levels of hate. Back to the juicy part. Silgi had seen Yu's phone and found all sorts of strange data. Details about Silgi's father, her stepmother's daily routine, her exam results, and even her hobbies. The question is, why does Yu have this information? And the bigger question, where did she get it from? There's also a missing poster of Silgi from her childhood, which means Yu knows everything. Who Silgi is, where she came from, her past, her trauma, her chai preference, everything. Everything Yu's been doing was part of some mysterious plan. Meanwhile, Jing had taken a paper from her mom. That paper is the death report of Silgi's father. Jing now plans to use this to blackmail Yu, because the report was written by Yu's father. Next morning, Yu wakes up to find Silgi missing. But the night before, while Silgi was shampooing and living her best life, Yu sneakily installed a tracker on her phone. Now she's watching Silgi's location live, like it's Google Maps. Silgi is heading to school. She goes downstairs, chats with Yu's dad and asks about her sister. The dad, looking like he just remembered he had kids, says maybe she's studying somewhere. He gives the classic confused parent excuse. She's ashamed she lost to Yu in studies, so she's hiding. At school, Silgi avoids Yu. News breaks that Nari is transferring schools. Yu confronts Silgi, but she avoids the question and takes her to say goodbye to Nari. Nari looks heartbroken. Yu jokingly wishes her well and they leave. Korean language grades are out. Silgi tops the class, shocking everyone. Her essay is kept private by the teacher, but later, copies mysteriously appear everywhere. The essay reveals Silgi's painful past, poverty, orphanhood, and her father's tragic death. Yu scrambles to stop people from reading it, but Silgi recalls it was her who leaked it. Silgi confronts Yu, who admits to blackmailing Nari with a video of her doing drugs, claiming it was to protect Silgi. Silgi also finds out Yu has secret info about her father, but won't explain why, but Yu shows no remorse. Back in class, a girl charges money for sanitary pads, the same brand Silgi saw in Yu's house, possibly linking her to the situation. Rumors spread about Silgi's background, and Jing unexpectedly takes her to the assembly to reveal a bombshell. Jing exposes that Silgi's stepmom had sued Yu's dad over a medical issue, demanding a formal apology. Yu's been manipulating Silgi to sign the letter and protect her dad. Jing warns Silgi not to fall for Yu's act. Shocked, Silgi later finds a 500 million won insurance policy and a threatening letter among her father's things, but she keeps quiet to avoid being kicked out by her stepmom. The next day, the teacher gives out a final exam guidebook. Students toss it, knowing the real questions through their tutors. Silgi panics. She can't afford help, and her medication is running out. With finals a week away, she's overwhelmed and desperate. The next day, she spends the whole time going around clinics trying to get drugs because these were medicines that, when mixed in certain ways, turned into something else. Everywhere she went, they didn't give her anything. Some told her to get a prescription from a doctor, others asked for ridiculously high prices, and some even insisted that she come with a family member before they would give her anything. By night, she still hadn't managed to get the medicine. She then managed to find a drug dealer online and messaged them. The dealer requested a password, but she had no idea what it was. The dealer's profile picture was an origami photo, and it reminded her of a time when on her first day in class, a girl had given her an origami. This same girl was the one who sent sanitary pads into the class. When she opened the origami, she found a password written inside. She sent this password to the dealer and the deal was confirmed. That night, she went to a location to collect the goods. The one who showed up to give it to her was Yu, the drug dealer. Yu told her that the drug she was there to collect was very strong, and that she wouldn't be able to handle it. Yu suggested she go for something else instead. Silgi became scared, thinking that if Yu will tell everyone outside that she was using drugs, her life would be ruined. So, she wanted to cancel the deal. However, Yu reassured her, saying that all girls of their generation and all students took these drugs to help with studying. She said that anyone who didn't take them would fail and that reading the private tuition's question book would help her top her exams. Yu then made a deal with her, telling her that if she scored more marks than Yu in the exam, she would reveal to her why she had information about her family. Silgi agreed to the deal and took the drug. Afterward, she felt completely overwhelmed, as if seeing stars during the day, which showed just how powerful the drug was. Meanwhile, another scene unfolded with Julie. She was holding the card that the scooter guy had given her and went for an interview. The lady asked if she was a student and told her to show her face. Julie opened her zipper and tried to show her breasts, but the lady stopped her, saying that first she wanted to see her face. The lady then complimented her, saying she was very beautiful and asking why she didn't become an actress. Julie replied that she didn't want to become an actress and that she just wanted to go to college to pay her tuition fees. She said this was the work she wanted to do. The lady warned her, saying many girls like her had come to the same place but got stuck in this line of work and couldn't leave. Julie responded that she would earn enough money and pay for her college fees, after which she would leave. The lady agreed and Julie left the place. The flashback comes with a little girl in a red light area with her mom. The girl began dancing in front of clients in a cabin. Her mom saw her and dragged her outside. She realized that her daughter was interested in dancing, singing and acting, and she wanted to make her a star, so she could enjoy the money she earned. The mom arranged many auditions for the girl, but she failed in all of them. As time passed, the girl's personality changed completely. Eventually, this girl grew up to be Julie. She had a love for showing off, and lived a life of luxury despite coming from poverty. She achieved this by extracting secrets from rich people. Every wealthy person had a secret, and she used this to blackmail them for money. She loved showing off and pretending to be rich. She even smoked cigarettes from a French cigarette box. Julie loved fitness and used to run every morning with Yu's father. Julie didn't enjoy studying at all, but she had a strong desire to make money. She showed her dad a picture of his second daughter, and his face turned pale when he saw it. Julie said that everyone thought her second daughter was secretly preparing for college entrance exams, but that wasn't true. She claimed to know the real truth, although no one was sure what that truth was. Yu's father realized that their secret was about to be exposed, so Julie was asked what she wanted, and she was told that all her expenses would be covered. This was why Julie was able to attend the expensive tuition classes and live the lifestyle she did, because Yu's father was paying for it. On the other hand, the exams were approaching, and Yu's employee, the one who worked for her, began selling sanitary pads filled with pills from the same box. It becomes clear from the situation that the reason there were so many sanitary pads in Yu's bathroom was because people were sending them with pills inside. This was also the moment when they saw the crazy girl, the one who usually sat in the back. She had begged for pills, saying she was dying without them. However, Yu had already sent a message instructing that no medicine should be given to anyone unless she approved it. The exam had now begun. Silgi had used Yu's drugs and had also received the same private tuition questions. Because of this, the exam became much easier for her and she topped the class. All the girls were shocked, as Silgi was a transfer student and came from a poor background. She didn't even take tuition, so they wondered how she had managed to top the class. At that moment, the homeroom teacher announced that the top 20 students would undergo medical tests to check whether they had used drugs during the exam. Silgi, feeling nervous, realized she was in trouble. She thought she would get caught. The 20 girls were then taken to Yu's father's hospital for checkups. The first step of the checkup involved asking a few questions. All the girls began to explain that they took pills to stay awake and prevent sleep while studying. They thought this might save them, but the next step involved a urine test. They knew that everything they had ingested would show up in the test. Fortunately, the girls had already prepared fake urine, either from another person or from a previous preparation. However, Silgi was unaware of this and realized that she was in danger. She didn't have any fake urine and feared that if the drugs were detected, she would be expelled from school and college, ruining her life. She thought she would end up working in a supermarket for the rest of her life. It was then that Yu sent a message to Silgi, calling her to the roof. Yu told her that she had something for her. Silgi rushed up, knelt down, and said that she understood now. She realized that Yu had been fooling her all this time. The school uniform and the tuition materials had all been part of Yu's plan. Silgi promised that she would do whatever Yu wanted in the future, if she saved her. She even said that she would get her mother to sign an apology letter. Yu agreed to guarantee Silgi's future, and handed her another set of fake urine. The final test involved injecting everyone with a sedative, making them unconscious, and then putting them to sleep. However, one girl managed to escape early and went to Silgi's locker to open it and steal her bracelet. Yu noticed and followed her, but just then, a doctor entered and stopped Yu from chasing her. Yu then entered a room and saw that an empty bed belonged to Julie, who was known to be a mischievous girl. That evening, all the girls went to a school party, and Yu had already messaged her girl to keep an eye on Julie. Meanwhile, Julie had stolen Silgi's phone, but it was her father's and it was quickly running out of battery. The crazy girl, needing drugs again, rushed into the bathroom and begged Julie for the pills, saying she was dying without them. Julie told her to go get a charger and then she would give her the money. The crazy girl rushed off to find the charger while Julie went to the parking lot and sat in Yu's father's car. It was then revealed that Yu's father had sent Julie to steal Silgi's phone. However, by mistake, Julie ended up with her father's phone. Julie was happy and said it was his phone, which made the man even happier because he knew this phone contained many secrets. Yu's father was willing to pay 5 million won in exchange for the phone. Julie was overjoyed, thinking she would become rich. Just then, the flash went off because Yu's girl had secretly recorded their conversation. Meanwhile, the crazy girl, still looking for the charger, had sneaked into a room at the school and seen a man wearing a cap. She took a picture of him. Julie quickly ran to Silgi, pretending that she had lost the phone. Silgi checked her bag and realized that her father's phone was missing. She assumed that Julie had dropped it. However, Julie plugged the phone into the charger at the party, and Yu later retrieved it. When Yu answered a call, the other person immediately hung up after hearing the voice. Yu then went to the bathroom and tried to unlock the phone. Not knowing the password, she thought for a moment, and then remembered Silgi's missing poster. She typed in the number from the day Silgi had gone missing, and the phone unlocked. The phone contained videos, one of which showed Silgi's father in a room with her missing sister. They were kissing and being intimate. This video had been sent by Yu's father, who was threatening Silgi's father, asking why he was doing this to his daughter. Yu was in shock after seeing the video. Meanwhile, the crazy girl found the charger and ran back to Julie, asking for the money. Julie, irritated, began to insult her. She said harsh things and everyone laughed at her. The poor girl was humiliated. Just then, Yu arrived at the location from the video, which turned out to be the office of Silgi's father. Yu had figured it out after seeing the items in the room. Meanwhile, the crazy girl, holding a knife, threatened Julie, saying she would stab her since Julie had gone back on her word about the money. However, for some reason, Silgi came to save Julie and the crazy girl changed her target and attacked Silgi instead. Silgi fell to the ground. Meanwhile, when Yu started checking the cabin, she was shocked to see the same cat person there. But it was not a man, it was Yu's missing sister, who had been in the video with Silgi's father.